Hi, today I want to show you something simple but essential, and that's how to use your brushes. The brushes are an important tool in the whole painting process. So I'm going to teach you how to use the brush, how to care for your brushes, how to store them, and how to know the parts of the brush and why that's important. When you know your brushes, you can trust your tools. And when you trust your tools, you will be able to relax and paint with calm, one brush stroke at a time. So let's take a deep breath and get started. You can see my brushes on my face there. So let's start with the anatomy of a brush. So you have the handle, just this part here. You have the ferrule, which is this part here that connects the brush to the handle. And this ferrule is really important because when you are cleaning your brushes, if you put them in water, you never want the water to go above the ferrule because then it helps to loosen the glue and sometimes your brush and your handle could come apart. And then you have the bristles. And there are different kinds of bristles. There's natural bristles, which is sable or um, hair. And then there's synthetic bristles that are like this, that are made with synthetics. And each kind of bristle works a little differently. You'll just have to experiment and see what works for you. Like this is a natural hair, boar's hair bristle. And I think this one's a sable bristle. So if you treat your brushes gently, they'll serve you for a really long time. The scariest things to do are to acrylic paint is, think of it sort of like glue with color in it. So if you leave your brushes out in the open with paint on them, they will dry and that will be the end of your brush. So let's now talk about the different kinds of brushes and what they do. So you can, this is considered a round brush. And a round brush is wonderful for detail work, for thin lines or graceful swirls. And all these brushes come in different sizes. I'm showing a large one so that you can see it. This is a size 10, but I also have here a size 2, which you can see is very much smaller and could be used for a lot more detail. You have your flat brushes, which are straight across the end. And those brushes are great for bold strokes, filling in a space, like if you want to get really close to it, the edge of something, and creating texture. You can go with a flat brush. A filbert brush is one that has rounded at the end. So it's a little, almost like a combo of a round brush and a flat brush. And it has a curved edge and it's soft and forgiving. So I'll be showing you these brushes on the canvas in a few minutes. And there's a fan brush. Oh, I don't have a fan brush here. The fan brush looks like this. And I don't use fan brushes too often, but they're great for blending and soft textures and even painting nature scenes like leaves or grasses. And you can just put like a little bit like that. I'll be showing you that one too. And then the last brush I'm going to show you today is an angle brush. So when you look at this, you see that it's cut at an angle. And that allows you to perfect your edges, curves, and get precise lines. So those are the brushes that we're going to use. So I want to show you how they work. So let's just bring a canvas over here. And some paint. Let's start with the flat brush. So a little bit in the water. So this is a flat brush. Notice that I can go like this. It's easy to make a defined line with a flat brush. So that's your flat brush. Now let's use the round brush. I always get my bristles a little bit damp, not soaking, before I put them in the paint. So this is a round brush. It's not as, it's good for broad strokes. So this is what the round brush looks like. The filbert brush, remember, has a little bit of a roundness to it. So this one is one of my favorite brushes, is the filbert. And that's what the filbert looks like. And let's try the angle brush. So on an angle brush, you can go flat like this, but if you want to cut a sharp line, you can do it like this. And if you choose the short side, it will be more, and if you loosen your grip, you see how you can make it really fine. So that's the flat brush, the angle brush. Now for the fan brush. I'm not a great fan brush user, but we're going to do it today. So you can just take part of your fan brush and go like this. That's how you make grasses and trees and stuff. Or you can move it around like that. I just wanted to show you some of the brush, what your brushes can do. So we already talked about the natural bristles and the synthetic bristles. And the natural bristles hold more paint and water, which can be helpful when you're trying to blend colors. The synthetic bristles, which are like these, tend to spring back more easily and are usually more durable with acrylic paints. For intuitive painting, like we're going to do, that's in the book, either brush will work. So you just have to go with works best with your hand and what you like. So how do you care for your brushes? Well, here's a little ritual I love. I gently put the brush in the water and tap it. And then I have a canvas covering on my table here. I'll put it over here so you can see it. And then I just kind of do that. And then I put it in the paint. And swirl it in the paint. And then let your brush dance across your canvas. Whatever it is you're doing on your canvas. Just go softly. You don't have to push hard. But you'll see that like here, I might need some more paint unless I am just looking for something that's subtle. This is much darker up here, so I can take some of this paint and put it over here. Yeah. So that's, so when you want to clean your brushes, this is the part that's really, after you paint, it's really important to clean your brushes right away. So here's how you want to do it. You want to rinse them in lukewarm water, never hot water. Gently swirl them in the palm of your hand, like this, while they're wet. And your hand will get paint on it, that's for sure. And you can see, you can use a mild soap or brush cleaner, but I just use soap. And rinse until the water runs clear. You want to blot it gently with a towel or your paper towel, like so. And reshape the bristles with your fingers. What I do is I lay them on a table and let them lay flat, and then let the brush bristles hang over the edge of the table. Once they're dry, you can store them in a jar, but you don't want to put them in the jar while they're wet because the moisture will run down into the ferrule and cause a problem with the glue, which could in the future cause your bristles to come apart. And if you have a, you can also buy you can buy brushes individually, you can buy them in sets, or you can buy them in a case like this. What this is great for is for traveling, because when you're traveling, your brushes are all compact. They're not going to get, the bristles aren't going to get disturbed with your packing and stuff. So if you buy them in a traveling holder, then you can keep them in there, but you always want to store them when they're clean and never leave them standing in water. And taking care of your tools is sort of a way of honoring your creative practice. So that's it about brushes. Oh, I wanted to give you one tip about brushes. So I'm going to go back to so you can see that. This is a tip that I shared in the first video, but you might not have seen that. So just do it now. So if I have some paint on my brush, and I've painted whatever it is I want to paint, but you can see there's a lot of paint still left on that brush, right? Well, I take a canvas, and this is going to be one of those canvases, and I just paint on here until most of the paint is gone. And you can see it's getting lighter. This will make it much easier for you to clean your brushes. It will make it easier for the, you see there's the paint is getting less and less on here. And you won't have to use as much water to clean. And then this will eventually turn into a canvas, the background of a canvas for something that I'm going to paint. So nothing ever goes to waste. So this will now become my new canvas for cleaning my brushes before I actually put them in the water and soap like I talked to you about earlier. So your brushes are much more than tools. They are the sort of an extension of you that allows you to explore your creativity. And I hope that this information and demonstration helped you to have an understanding and be ready to play with your brushes. So until next time, our next video will be about how to mix paint colors. That's exciting too. To your creativity and to your spirit of adventure. This is Nancy Dadami, nancydadami.com. Until next time.